thought soccer was a team sport. Is that my mistake for thinking like that? I'll be the first to admit I don't know anything about soccer. I don't watch it. Never found it to be interesting. I respect the athletes that play soccer. They have incredible endurance, but soccer just not my thing. I prefer the NFL and the NBA. But I'm pretty damn sure soccer is a team sport. If I'm not mistaken, each team has 11 players on the field at the same time. It's not like golf where the performance is on one single person. I mean, I'm almost positive here soccer's a team sport. It takes the efforts of all 11 players working together for the team to win, right? The reason I keep repeating myself is because I'm a bit confused here, in more ways than one. You'll see that in just a second. I'm looking at all this media coverage about Canada winning the gold medal in women's soccer. Judging by the media coverage, the Canadian women's soccer team only has one player, Quinn, and that player only has one name. Matter of fact, you might as well remove Canada from the equation altogether and rename our neighbors to the north Quinn. The mainstream media, they have found their newest media darling, their newest beacon of all things woke. When you get time, I want you to go to your Google machine and simply type in one word, Quinn. See for yourself what comes up. Much like far left talking points, every media headline says the same thing, almost verbatim. Headline over at ESPN: Quinn becomes first openly transgender athlete to medal at Olympic Games. NPR: Quinn becomes first trans and non-binary gold medalist. Headline over at Yahoo was damn near verbatim to NPR. I asked the same question I asked the other day about Quinn. How can you be transgender and non-binary at the same time? I double checked this because I thought maybe I was confused. Maybe I wasn't educated. Maybe I had my definitions wrong. Maybe I needed to be educated on what it meant to be transgender and non-binary. Turns out I was right. I knew what the hell both words meant. For you to be transgender, you have to transition from one gender to the other. In the case of Quinn, she would transition from female to male. Here's the thing though. I can't find any evidence of Quinn ever making the transition. Trust me, I have looked and looked and looked. I cannot find it, which tells me she never transitioned. And if she did and I'm wrong, my mistake. In most cases though, in my experience anyway, from what I found out doing a lot of research on this topic, people will reveal when they make the transition, which is fine. I mean, I don't care either way. So for this instance, Quinn is still the same gender she was born as, a woman, which means her playing women's soccer shouldn't be cause for concern. No big deal. So why is the media making this such a big deal? A women's soccer player in Canada won a gold medal on the women's soccer team. Quinn is not transgender, at least from what I can tell. I checked out several recent pictures of her. Looks like she still has boobs to me. Laurel Hubbard was transgender. She transitioned 8 years ago. Just because someone comes out as transgender, Quinn came out as transgender last September. Just because someone comes out as that, that doesn't make you transgender. If I came out and said, I'm tired of being a man, I want to become an elephant, that doesn't make me an elephant. I'm still a dude. Let's get back to the non-binary thing. How can you be transgender and non-binary at the same time? I looked up the actual definition of non-binary. Here's what it says according to Wikipedia. Quote, non-binary or genderqueer is an umbrella term for gender identities that are neither male or female, end quote. I thought we weren't allowed to say queer anymore. And what the hell's going on here? I don't care who you are. When you're born, you're either a boy or a girl. I know we live in a free society, but just because you say you're non binary and are the first person in the history of civilization born without a gender, it doesn't make it true. It doesn't mean it's real. I learned something new about myself today. According to the article I read on CNN about Quinn winning the gold medal, I learned that I am cisgender. Cisgender. Most of you in my audience, you're cisgender too. Welcome to the club. Cisgender is the term used to describe people that identify as the sex they were born as. In other words, we make up 99.4% of the population here in America. With that being the case, why does the media continue to push athletes like Quinn, Laurel Hubbard, Elena Smith? Why does the media keep pushing them down our throat? Media outlets have one goal: attract an audience. The way you attract an audience, you supply them with content that is relatable or controversial. The problem, though, when you rely on controversy, it's not sustainable. Eventually, people become desensitized to the controversy. It becomes normal. And that's your answer. The woke agenda wants all of this to become normal so they can start pushing it to your children. They're hoping they can normalize this whole thing with parents. So when they start pushing this into the school system, parents will think it's no big deal. It's normal. If you don't believe me, just listen to Quinn's own words. Quote, I feel optimistic for change. Change in legislature, change in rules, structures, and mindsets. Mostly, I feel aware of the realities. Trans girls being banned from sports, trans women facing discrimination and bias while trying to pursue their Olympic dreams. The fight isn't close to over, and I'll celebrate when we're all here, end quote. What else is there to say? She laid out the agenda right there for you. What do you think she means by change in legislature? What do you think she means by change in rules, change in structure, change in mindset? Go back to what Michelle Obama said back in 2008. We have to move into a different place. Andrew Cuomo said it last year. We have to get to a new normal. Now, he was talking about the COVID, but the end goal is the same. The far left, they are using sports and athletes to promote their agenda. They have been pushing this agenda for years, for decades now, through normal channels, but it's not moving quickly enough. When you think about it, it really is a brilliant part of their plan. How can you reach guys like me? Through athletes. Whether we like it or not, athletes like Quinn, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, they have influence. Why do you think sports leagues like the NBA and now the NFL, why do you think they continue to promote woke politics when evidence shows the vast majority of their audience doesn't want it? Ratings for the Olympics are in the gutter. Yet, look at who the media is promoting. Quinn. The woke media has already forgotten about Tamara Mensah-Stock. When they did talk about her for about, 12, 24 hours, they promoted her as the first black woman to win a gold medal in wrestling. They injected race into the conversation instead of promoting her pro-America comments. How much have you heard about Amber English? Ever heard of her? Amber English is a lieutenant in the Army. She set an Olympic record in the women's skeet final. She won the gold medal. I'd be willing to bet most of you guys never heard of her. Not your fault. The media doesn't promote her. Go Google her name. One mainstream outlet covered her story. Fox News. That's the type of story the Olympics used to be all about. In 2021, stories coming out of the Olympics are about Quinn and the record number of LGBTQ athletes competing in the Olympics this year. I actually feel sorry for the other women on the Canadian women's soccer team. They have busted their ass for years. They won Canada, the country's first gold medal in soccer. And the majority of people, including me, can't name one other player on the roster. We all know Quinn, though, a player who scored a grand total of 0 goals in the Olympics. I have been saying this throughout the Olympics. We used to celebrate accomplishments. We used to celebrate athletes fighting through adversity. We used to celebrate greatness. In 2021, the sports media celebrates athletes who represent the agenda. Just look at the Olympians that they've promoted. Megan Rapinoe, Gwen Berry, Laurel Hubbard, Elena Smith, Quinn, Chelsea Wolfe. What do they all have in common? We've barely heard anything about Team USA in basketball. America ranks second in medal count right now, only behind China. How many gold medal winners have you heard about? If you didn't believe it before, there's no way you can deny it now. The sports media and the mainstream media are in the business of pushing the far left agenda. All right, time to let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on the media celebrating Quinn making history and ignoring the rest of the Canadian women's soccer team. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.